welcome back to the second bit of horrible histories of celts. Right, let's hop right into this. Badly believe the celts had gods all over the place. Gods in the trees, gods in the stream, and even gods in the stones. The oak tree was especially holy, and the mistletoe they grew on it was magical stuff. People today still believe this, and that's why we have the Christmas custom of kissing underneath the mistletoe. Warning, do not be tricked into kissing some sneaky creep will happen to fancy you. Tell them the truth. Mistletoe is only magical when it's cut by a druid using a gold sickle. That makes me sickle. 10 things you need to know about druids. 1. Laws were made by the kings, but it was the druids who advised the king. This is rather like government ministers advising the queen today. They are her lords, but everybody knows that government rules the country. The druids also acted as judges to enforce those laws. It didn't pay to upset a druid. Number 2. Druids were clever clogs because they spent 20 years training to become the one. This is even worse than middle school, where you spend 11 to 15 years training to be an adult. You then spend another 50 years wondering if it was worth it. Number 3. The sacred mistletoe must not touch the ground. When the druid with the golden sickle climbed a tree, another 2 druids stood below and caught it in a white cloth, and he threw it down. This was also very handy if the druid with the golden sickle fell out of the tree. And standing under the right tree would help too. They went and looked at the wrong tree. 4. These druids were the village's wise men, and maybe wise women, who advised the villagers on problems like the best time to plant their crops. They were like your local Vizca, but with an important difference. Your Vizca might expect a £5 note for each of his worshippers. A druid accepted blood, and the druids had real power over those people. As Roman Julius Caesar said, when a person disobeys a druid, then they ban them from attending at sacrifices. This is the cruelest punishment a cult can suffer. There, just had to put my laptop on charge. The Roman writers, like Lucan, said druids even sacrificing humans. Lucan claimed that the trees were sprinkled with human blood. Yay! Oh, of course, Lucan could have been exaggerating a bit, or a lot. The Romans didn't like the Celts and may have written a few lies about them. Of course, the Celts didn't do much writing, so the Roman stories have gone down in history and the truth has been forgotten. 6. The Celts of Gaul sent their druids over to Britain to be trained. British Celt druids must have been the best. 7. When a druid wanted some spirit help, he slaughtered a bull and had it skinned. Then he lay down on the bed of worn branches and wrapped it bull hide around his body. Bloody sliced next to him. As he slept, he experienced dreams that answered his questions or solved his problems. Problems like, how did you get the bloodstains out of the druid's robes? Or what did you dream of, great druid? For some reason, all that came in my head was loads of fresh hay and charging at the red things. 8. Druids were also fortune tellers who said they could see into the future. What would you do if you could see into the future, become a fortune teller and make your fortune, or simply pick next Saturday's winning lottery number every week for a year? It's easy. All you have to do is follow the dreadful druid methods of divining the future. What I would do, I wouldn't really be a fortune teller because most fortunes are fake and people just think you're just faking it. I mean, like, it's easy, just like this is I think there's like a name in it. Oh, I can sense a feeling. Oh, I can sense someone with a who has an A in its name. I do. My dead grandma was called Anna. Oh, I'm sensing that she died of a chest pain. Yes, she died of heart disease. Yeah, I know. Oh, I'm also sensing that she had an illness. Yeah, she had cancer. See, right there. It's way too easy. Take the flesh of a dog, chew it, call upon the spirit of the dog to give you its secret, have a long deep sleep, or place the palm of your hands over your eyes, crossing your hands over your face. Nah, don't kill a dog. A vision will reveal the wisdom that is guarded by the animal. Trees are good to wee on. The Celtic druids used this method to predict who their next king would be. But why was a wise dog know that? May not be able to get the flesh of a dog. Maybe next door's Rottweiler doesn't want you to bite its leg. But the Celts believed the flesh of a cat or a bull would give up the animal's secret. Could a cat's flesh reveal winning scratch cards? Cat scratch. Get it? Ugh, never mind. Oh, yeah, I get it. Because, yeah. Probably the flesh of a bull is easy to get a hold of. True that, and soon you'll either have the gift of prophecy or mad cow disease. Now, when the Christians arrived in the Celtic world in the 5th century, the Druids had to go. The Christians had spent a couple of hundred years being thrown to the lions, and that put them off bloody sacrifices for life. You'd be surprised to learn that animal sacrifices were still being made in 868 AD. Wouldn't you then you'll be able, well, that makes no sense. Wouldn't you? Question mark. Okay, it does. Then you'll be astounded and gobsmacked to discover that they were still being made in 1868 AD. That's right, less than 150 years ago. There was still a Celtic style festival held in Quinnivanes in France. It involved throwing valuables and animals into the lake offering to the gods. My own is so thick. Why? What's he praying for? More sheep. Yeah, he is. 10. The Druids had some useful powers that you probably wish you had. They could change the shape to anything they want. Dragon, I said dragon. Control the weather. Bring down mist to make themselves invisible. Hello, Mr. Druid. Darn it. Travel through time. I think I'll go back 5 minutes and have that cake all over again. Imagine that. There could be a druid at your school. In your history, if your history teacher seems to know an awful lot about the Celts, then maybe they are a Celt druid, a druid on holiday in the 21st century. Saints alive! In the time Celts dropped their god of steam and woods and stones and became Christian, but a lot of their beliefs were carried forward into the new religion. They still had godlike humans who performed the most incredible miracles, people like Winifred and her uncle Beano. Saint Gwynfor, or Winfred in England. Oh, I got cold. Winfred was the nicest, of St. Rose, an abbot in the 6th century Wales. Young prince got Alan loved her, but she made it clear she didn't want to marry him. This upset the young prince from Wales, so he drew his sword and cut off her head, as princes sometimes do when you upset them. As her head hit the ground, it wasn't so much a splat as much as a splash. As a splash, because a spring of water gushed out of a dry rock. What the? Well, let me read that again. You have to know where, so he drew his sword and cut off her head, as princes sometimes do when you're upset, and her head hit the ground. The head hit the ground, splash, the spring, okay. Along came St. Rio, struck her head back on her body. So she put her head back on her body, okay. And she was restored to life, with just a thin white line round her neck, to show where she had a little accident. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Bruno was not so kind. New cardiac. The saint cursed the prince till the earth opened up and swallowed him. This taught him a lesson. He never remembered because he was dead, before he could forget. Even his descendants suffered from Bio's curse. They all barked like dogs until they made a pilgrimage to the well. Wilfred Well waiters are now said to cure illness, and the well is still visited by tourists. So don't go upsetting a Prince of Wales unless your uncle is a saint. Hope Spring Eternals. At one time, heads must have been bouncing round Celtic lands like lucky numbers in a drum. St. Lude, St. Justinian, St. Nicholas, and St. Drunkum all lost their heads, and spring sprang as they fell. St. Catherine's shrine was set up in 516 AD, and it's said to cure the rheumatism. Well, St. well water will smooth your stomach when you feel a gut ache coming on. St. Birds were popular in all of the Catholic countries: Scotland, Wales, Cornwall, the island of Man, and Brittany. Also, Brittany, as well as her home in Ireland. She had so many wells, it seems that someone must have cut off her head and played football with it. Well, there are 3 more secret springs over here. Which cross are still set up on farmlands in Ireland to protect crops and animals. This is because she used to punish who stole her cattle by drowning or scolding them. She didn't have Winfred problem or Prince chasing her though. Because she made herself ugly by putting out one of her eyes. Horrible history jokes. Why was St. Bright like a lonely teacher? Because she only had 1 pupil. Shing, time to cut off your head. Saints unalive. The Celts became such great Christians that they practically invented many of the great Christian traditions. It's said that John Gerson was a Celt born in Scythia, and he brought the first monasteries to Europe. He pinched the idea from the Egyptians though. The main thing you need to be a saint is to have a very good life, a very messy death, and an incredible miracle happen. Some Celt saints managed all 3. Saint Telio. Saint Telio, a 6th century Welsh saint, is buried at a place called linger far, and in penalty, and it in land of the Cavalier. This is not very difficult if you are a saint, and no, they did not chop him into three and share it spits out. In one night, his corpse became 3 bodies. Don't you wish you could do this? You could send one body to the school, while one went to the seaside, and the other stayed in bed and watched television. If you hear any cuts, that means I'm just getting myself a drink or some problems happen. Saint Oakland. That can, not oil can. Oil can. Father died before he was born. The shot killed his mother, who also died before he was born. She was buried, and then Oakland was born. A passing nobleman heard baby Oakland crying, dug him up and saved his life. Don't try this in your local cemeteries. Body snatching is a grave offence. Oh. Saint Ronan. Cornish monk Saint Ronan had a pretty rough life after he was dead. His body was loaded onto a wagon, and the oxen pulling it was set free. Where the wagon stopped, Ronan would be buried. But as the cart turned along, it was attacked by an angry Celt woman. People say Ronan had upset her because she didn't notice her when she tried to chat him up. Anyways, first she hit one of the orcs and knocked her horn off, and then she hit Ron's corpse a mighty smack in the face. He's probably glad to get safety underneath the ground after that. I guess? Maybe? Saint Monisa. This beautiful Irish princess was a non-Christian Celt before she heard Saint Patrick preaching. She thought the old Pat was wonderful and said, "Convert me to Christianity. I want to be baptized. It's the last thing I do." Patrick baptized her, and it was the last thing she did. She died from the happiness. Please note, if you die from happiness while reading this book, your money will not be refunded. Okay. Saint Cleon. If you are a saint, it's always handy if you can work miracles. After you die, Cleon managed it. It seemed that all the other saints in Ireland were praying that he would die young. Cleon didn't let them down. He was only 33 when he died of plague in 548 AD. There were plagues even before the famous 1349 Black Death, and this one got him. Dying was a very popular thing for Cleon to do. A Saint Columbia cheered, but Columbia took a chunk of turf from Cleon's grave and carried it with him everywhere. Years later, Cleon was caught in a deadly whirlpool. Threw the turf in the water, and the whirlpool went calm. Good to know. Well, I just had to move some stuff around. Saint Merlo. Little Merlo was only 7 when his dad was murdered. The bishop persuaded the killer not to murder Merlo too. He didn't. Instead, he chopped off the boy's hand and foot. Merlo hopped along to the blacksmith and had a metal hand and foot made. Miraculously, his flesh and blood hand grew back, but Merlo guardian cut off his head next. The boy didn't have a head grown trick, or maybe the blacksmith didn't do heads and he died. The murderer picked up the head happily and dropped dead 3 days later. That's what you get. Right, that is where I'm going to end this, and the next thing I'm going to be doing in the next episode, 6 deadly funny facts. Right, see you all. Bye!